Hello, today I'm going to show you how to add Ethernet I/O to a Logix controller. So to start out, we're going to open up Studio 5000 and create a new project. We will choose, I'll just choose an L18 ERM processor, and I'll just call this test. And we'll make it version 33, and I'll just say there's no expansion I/O, and we'll complete this. Now the idea is not difficult. What we're trying to do is just add a device or add an I/O rack. It could be a robot. Anything that communicates Ethernet IP will follow the process I'm about to show you. But we have to wait here for our Studio 5000 Logix Designer to start up. Here we've created our project, and really the process is relatively simple. We graphically are going to add an Ethernet device under the Ethernet port of this particular processor. So we're about set up here. Now, as you can see in this blank project here, if I expand the controller organizer, you'll see both a local configuration and this Ethernet configuration. So on this particular processor, it has a built-in Ethernet port, and what we want to do is just add a device. So for our example today, what I'll do is I'm going to add a PowerFlex drive that will communicate Ethernet back to our L1 Compact Logix processor. So again, this Ethernet graphic right here represents the Ethernet port. So what I'm going to do is right mouse click on this Ethernet and choose New Module. And what should happen now is I'm going to see a list of components, devices that will work with Ethernet IP. And it's going to be a fairly large list, so let's expand this out so we can see it better. And what I'm going to do here is just type in, up here, you can go into this filter and just type in something like, we'll choose PowerFlex. And again, what this will do is it will help kind of filter out which particular one we want to use, at least a little bit. So for our example, I want to choose a PowerFlex 525. And I'm going to use the embedded Ethernet on the 525, so I'm going to choose this one with embedded Ethernet. Then I'm going to hit Create. And now I'm just going to expand this out a little bit so you can see it better. And we can give it a name. So we'll just call this in-feed conveyor. Then we give it an IP address. Then again, the revision, we'll just leave it at 6.1 right now. And keying here has some different options. You have exact match, compatible, and disable. Exact match means that this your controller application will be looking for a drive that has the exact firmware revision. And compatible means that it's going to look and make sure that the drive you selected matches the drive that it actually sees. So it's kind of like an in-between. And then disable keying basically means the processor won't really do any checks. It's just going to try to connect whether it's a PowerFlex drive or not. Or in this case, when you say disable keying, it's basically saying, hey, I don't care what's there. So it's kind of used only for troubleshooting. My recommendation is to use compatible module for most applications. If you are in a validated process, like pharmaceuticals, for example, you would most likely use exact match. Then here, we're going to choose the drive rating. So we'll say we have a 3-phase 460 volt 1 horsepower. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll just kind of go down this list. We'll leave peripherals alone. The connection format will be velocity. And then here we have this input tab. So this is the information that will be coming into the drive, or into the controller, I'm sorry. Drive status and the output frequency. And then the output will have a word called logic command and frequency command. So again, like your start, stop, clear faults will be part of the logic command word. And then frequency command will be the actual speed reference. Okay. And then we're going to go, if we want to use automatic device configuration, we can do that by enabling this, but for right now we'll leave it off. And what automatic device configuration is basically storing the configuration of the drive to the project. So in the event that the drive needs to be replaced, the configuration can be automatically transferred to the new drive to just reduce the amount of downtime. So at this point, we're going to hit OK. And again, now with our Premier Drive integration, we can look at different settings of the drive. But this is one I liked to make sure people understand. Under connection, you have what's called the requested packet interval, or RPI. And what this is basically how quickly do you want the information with the drive to be shared with the controller, and vice versa, the controller with the drive. So by default, we have 20 milliseconds. So again, that means that information transfer between the drive and the controller will be at a 20 millisecond interval. Sometimes this is way faster than you need. Other times people just leave the default. It's up to you, but as you can see, there's a wide range that you can use. And then here, you also have the ability to inhibit the module, which means if you want to disable the connection to the drive temporarily, you can do that. And then here, if you check this box, if the drive loses a connection with the controller, you can have the controller fault out. Some people like that functionality or need it, and others do not want it, so it's up to you. And then lastly is this use unicast connection. And again, this is important because if you uncheck this, it'll be multicast, which could create more traffic on your network. So unicast basically means it's point to point. So in most cases, you're going to want to have that checked. Okay. Again, with the drive, one thing that's really cool with the PowerFlex drives is I have the ability to monitor all the parameters. I can look, again, faults and alarms if I'm connected with the processor online. Same with device info. There's also some wizards that are created to help with the drive configuration. So again, some of these are very helpful. And then lastly, it just shows the IP address. So we're just going to hit create, just in the interest of time here. And then hit close on this. Now you can see that the drive is showing up under the Ethernet port. And another thing is all the tags get automatically created for us for that drive. So if I expand the inputs coming from the drive to the controller, I'm having a little trouble here. Bear with me a sec. I think it's just I'm missing the mark here. There we go. Sorry about that. So here, I just clicked on the outputs, and you can see here's my start and stop bit, my jog bit, clear faults, and so forth. So again, like all the tags get automatically created for you, and the same thing happens on the input side. See if I can get this to go here. I think my mouse target's really small with the resolution that I have. But now here's the, again, telling you that the drive is ready, it's active, you know, which direction is it commanded to be going into, the commanded direction in actual. And then, you know, this bit accelerating, as it's accelerating up, the speed will be set. So again, it just gives you a wealth of information about the drive for your programming. So this concludes the connection, showing you how to add an Ethernet device, Ethernet IP, to a Logix controller.